Did you at some point think that you wanted the kind of show business career that you um, imagined when you visited New York City? Did you ever think I'm going to have you know, uh, a widescreen show business career?
I think I did. I think I thought about that in different forms at different times in different moods. Like if you see a James Bond movie, you want to be James Bond. You see a Robin Williams movie, you want to be Robin Williams. You see Star Wars, you want to be in that movie. Or uh, I had this kind of like scatterbrain kind of desire, or you see a stand-up who's really good in a club, and you think, oh, I'd really like to be able to do that. I remember there's a stand-up comedian I ran into a couple of times. He was really good stand-up. He tragically died by his own hand some time ago, but um, a guy called Richard Jenny, and Richard was very kind of like acerbic, kind of like, he was just it's kind of scary actually. And I thought I'd quite like to be like him, but I couldn't be like Richard. I liked Richard, and I had him on the late night show a couple of times, but I couldn't be like him. He was kind of too cool, too scary. But all of that was aspirational. It was all aspirational. America felt aspirational. That was kind of it. Felt like there were possibilities here. I remember as well where I grew up. The class system in Britain is probably still around, but I think it's a little more muted than it was when I was a kid. But it was going full pelt when I was young. That I came from a background where there was a I didn't have a path laid out for me, but the world did. And I didn't like that.
When you got to the United States, how did it, when you got to the United States as an immigrant, how did it compare to the United States that you had imagined based on having visited one time when you were 13 years old and, having seen Taxi Driver or whatever?
It actually it compares very favorably and still does. Like I came when I was 13, then I went back. And then I came back over when I was about 20 and I stayed for about 6 months and then I went back. And then I came in and out, I got a couple of so it wasn't like I came at 13, then I came back when I was 32 when I actually moved here. I had been coming back and forward. I got a job in 1987, a pilot shooting in New York when I was 25 for a show called High, which was about high school, and I played a teacher in the high school. There was a bunch of us in that. Gwyneth Paltrow was one of the students, and Zach Braff was one of the students, the and I played the teacher. But the show was called High, and I unfortunately was completely high the whole time. But it wasn't picked up, so I'd been in and out, and I wasn't unaware of. I mean, I wanted to work here, and I wanted to live here, but it wasn't until I got sober in the UK that I could come back and actually make it work. Everything comes around to the sobriety thing. Until I got sober, nothing worked, America or not. Nothing worked.
Did you always have immigration status when you were in the United States? Did you always have a visa? And
Well, they used to give me this O1. There was something called an O1 visa. You would come in, and it was to do a job, and then you had to leave. When I was here, when I was 20, I got a 6-month visa, and then I left before it ran out because I was scared that I was going to get caught. So I was always kind of frightened to let it stay beyond a visa or anything like that. It'd be a little tricky. People did.